This is Melody, and I'm so
Hello.
excited and honored to have an incredible guest with me today. This gentleman is not only a near and dear friend to me, but I've admired him for years, and it's someone that I call my mentor, someone who's helped. It was the compass to my life's journey and helped me set my life on a path I never expected for myself. He's changed my mindset, and he's given me a new approach to life, relationships, and definitely affected my spiritual growth. This is someone, when he speaks, whether on stage or in a webinar training or just personally with me on the phone, I know that I need to have a pen and paper in hand because I'm going to want to remember all of the great information that he shares with me. I call these gems, and these gems are very precious to me and my life's development. Mr. Robert Hollis, best-selling author, has reached the multi-millionaire status and has created 44 millionaires. He's been featured on TV with Barbara Walters, 2020, Hugh Downs, ABC Sports, and Lifetime Network. Not to mention all the articles that have been written about him in multiple magazines. The two things that stood out to me about Robert Hollis is his huge heart and his willingness to teach others how to have the successes he's had. Big welcome to you, Robert. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, I'm very, very honored and blessed to be on this with you, Melody, and I would do anything for you. You're such a wonderful person and such a great friend over the years. I just think you're a sweetheart, and I know you love people, and that's why I'm so excited to do this with you.
Thank you. I think we both have that in common. We really, that's my main purpose, and I know that's what you do, is you've made a career of it, is helping others. And some people have told me in the past that I shouldn't be focused so much on that, that I should be focused more on being successful. But I've learned from you that helping others helps create our own success. And for that, I thank you.
Yeah, it's a very difficult. I always tell people it's a little thing I learned from my first mentor, which was a billionaire, and his name was Roger Penske. And the very first thing that he said to me is, it's very easy to be successful and happy in life. All you got to do is find out what 97% of the people on the planet are doing, and don't do that. So usually when I tell people what I do to be successful, and they go, "Wow, I don't know anybody that does that," that pretty much means you're on track.
That's great. Well, you know, I'm always thrilled when we get to spend time together, and I don't know why, and I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous today. So bear with me here. I'm just so excited to be here with you.
Nah, you're doing great. You're doing great. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Well, like I mentioned in your introduction, you have created 44 millionaires. I'm privileged to know just a few of those, and I know they're great people, but my question to you is, do they keep in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of them, it's just like I do with my mentors. You build a really incredible relationship with somebody when they not only mentor you, but you just get very, very close to them. So it's fun to be able to have someone that's, in my case, both my mentors now have made over $1 billion. So why would you want to keep in touch with somebody like that? So, there's actually a few of the people that I've mentored that have actually made more than me in a single year, but I still got a lot of them on total income. So it's an incredible deal. It really, really is a lot of fun.
Wow, that's amazing. And what does it feel like to be part of somebody else's success story?
It's why I do what I do. It's pretty amazing to me that when you really work with somebody and they start to get it, and you see their confidence and everything start clicking in, their limiting beliefs disappear, and they really start doing what I believe God's called them to do. And when they start really getting into that belief, that wow, I was created to do great things. I'm here to help people, and I'm just going to go out there and do it. And you start seeing them turn into the person they actually always believed they could be. I always believed that people are born, and we all want to be superheroes. And even you, Melody, you got these incredible gifts that God has given you, and it's silly not to use them. So there you are.
Thank you. I think about these 44 individuals, and I realize their success has to have affected countless lives.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel, and do you ever think about that?
I do. I do. I know that, like my mentor, I know there's probably like 22 people that have reached out to my mentor and shared with them, hey, listen, I can't express in words, what you've done for me, how you mentored me, how you taught me. And so, yeah, when you think of the ripple effect of that, and a neat example is, this weekend I was doing a breakthrough with Eric Worre, and I actually just went to go and experience what he was doing for other people. And there was actually a couple there that was actually in a company that I actually trained the owners of the company. And so that was bizarre. That was totally bizarre to have that happen, full circle. And Eric was talking about something similar that happened to him. Here he was, we were both independent distributors with a company called NSA years ago, 27 years ago. And Eric was just asked back to talk to the people and train the leaders of that company that he left back in 1990. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow. So back to those 44 individuals, do you think that they had something or they did something different than most people to achieve the success that they have?
Yes, absolutely. The phrase that keeps coming in my mind all the time is blind faith. When your timing is correct, and I always tell people, and I know, Melody, that through your life, unfortunately and sometimes fortunately, you've experienced some things, not only tragic, but you've also experienced some pretty tragic things with your health. So now, you can tell a person all day long, you can say, this is what you got to do for your health, this is what you got to do for your health, this is what you got to do for your health, and everybody goes, yeah, I thought of that, I played around with it. And then all of a sudden you get an incredible diagnosis from somebody saying, hey, you got this. And it's amazing. There's still two groups of people. One group of people say, well, listen, I lived a good life, and I don't believe in this stuff, and they're gone. And then you got other people that goes, wait a minute, I'm going to fight. And they become very, it's funny how we all say we don't have time, but as soon as something like that happens in your life, guess what? You find the time. Everything goes away. And I explained it this way. If you can imagine in your mind, and for your watchers out there, imagine whether you've seen it on video or you've seen it live. Just think of this fast-moving stream. The stream is just moving, super fast. And in the middle of this stream is this huge boulder, great big giant boulder that that the stream will never, ever move. You want to ask yourself in your life, what's the boulder? Because if you have what you're focused on, let's say, for instance, that's your children, then everything else around your life flows around that boulder. See what I mean? That's your focus. And what I've seen with some of the other people that I've mentored and trained that got really successful is I caught them at the right place in their life. They were sick and tired of their current lifestyle. They dropped everything and they focused and made what they were doing the rock and allowed everything else to flow by it. And when they did that, the success comes very quickly. Most people, it's like their job or everything else is the rock. So then it forces your business to flow around what's the most important to you. And it's difficult to get instant success and fast success and even momentum when everything in your life is more important than that rock.
Wow. Thank you for that perspective. The mindset that you have of paying it forward, do you know if those other 44 individuals are doing the same?
Yeah, absolutely. There becomes a part in your life where you know, there's like I think Tony Robbins talks about them, but there's 6 human needs that we need, and one of them is contribution. One of it is to be in a situation where you're significant. And one of the things that you'll find out, we hear about people and they got money out of the way, they might have fame out of the way, they might have success out of the way. But if you don't find a way to contribute, if you don't find a way to be able to give back, you're going to be extremely, extremely unhappy. And I believe that's where a lot of the people that haven't made money in their life come up with the slogan, you know, that money doesn't buy happiness. I know that comes from them seeing people that are wealthy that are not happy. So these are people that do what people say you shouldn't do, which is, I agree, which you're making all the money, you're giving none of the money away, you're seeing how many cars and homes that you can buy, and you're really not interested in giving back and being significant as far as you know, your contribution to the world, you know, building you know, some kind of culture or some kind of movement, because when you find people like that, that becomes the rock. You know what I mean? So now all of a sudden you find people like, you know, we were laughing about Bill Gates, and I believe that when Bill Gates dies, I don't even know if they'll mention Microsoft.
Wow.
You know, you think about what he's doing right now, is he's going to be one guy that's responsible on the planet for getting rid of malaria.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so you know, his human his human contribution is inspired so many billionaires around the world now. Warren Buffett gave him $38 billion. Now him and Warren Buffett are calling other billionaires, getting them to make a commitment to them to give away over half of their wealth back to humanity. And now they got 125 billionaires that meet once a year in a committee to help each other learn how to give back to humanity. You know, I believe that, you know, when Bill Gates passes away, they'll say, yeah, I think he made his first money in Microsoft, but that's not going to be what he's known for.
Oh, leaving a legacy.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's exactly what you're doing, and what I aspire to do one day is to leave that legacy. And I've learned that from you, and how important it is. It's not just so much to me. Well, it's really important for me to take care of my family when I'm gone.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's important.
Yeah, and you know, most people, you know, their number one focus is, you know, how they're going to have enough money to pay the door charge at the club this weekend. So just a different focus.
Okay. Well, your story is truly incredible, and I can't wait for you to share that with our audience. But first, I want to take you back to your childhood as little Bobby.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Bobby? What kind of child was he?
Wow. This is going to floor a lot of people. Great question. You know, my childhood was really, really awful. I mean, really, really awful. You know, my father was an alcoholic, really, really, really bad. He used to beat me and my mom up all the time. And to the point of, it got to a point where the government, I guess you called it child services, they made a decision to take me away from my mother. Because I guess she couldn't, you know, take care of me. And so that was right around the age of 13, 14 years old. And so I just grew up in foster homes. But through that, I've always was saying, you know, I just really understood that if I was going to get anything like a bicycle or a motorcycle or a mini bike or a snowmobile, which I had all of them, is I just immediately knew that if it was to be, it was up to me. You know, I got a paper route really early. I started finding out that if I expanded that paper route, I could make more money, and always had a couple of jobs, you know, even before the age of 16, 17. And so, you know, I think, you know, because I look at my two siblings, my two brothers, and they took a totally different path. They took the whole victim, the world owes me everything, and I grew up in a bad, family, and for that reason, they decided to always take a life of just barely getting by, and a lot of crime and stuff like that. So, my goal is I just wanted to get out of that city. I'll never forget, my mental mind was, I've heard of places like California, and I've heard places like this, and I loved working on cars, and so my whole goal was to, be able to be a mechanic and get out of there as soon as I could. I just didn't like the surroundings I was in. I knew that I needed to be around other people that knew more than I currently knew, or the people that were around me. But I was because of my lifestyle at that time, I was the kind of guy that always wanted to help out others, and even way back then, even when I think I went to one high school reunion, and a lot of the kids came up to me, and some of them I didn't recognize, and they thanked me for always seeing them and always smiling and always saying hi with them. And there was even this group of kids that people made fun of. Some of them even had some special needs, and I would sit at their table. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just love people. I've loved people my entire life.
That's great. You really have a heart for people, and I think that shows that it came from your childhood. It's like you were always this jolly person, even deep inside, even when life had difficult times for you.
Yeah, I think what I did is I treated people the way that I wish people would treat me.
I think everybody on this planet should have that outlook.
Yeah, so the giving forward part, whether the spiritual beliefs of your watchers and the people that watch us later, I just really got that if you were nice to people, that not all, but if you were nice to people, people would be nice to you. If you helped other people out, they would help you out. And I know that doesn't work for every person, but I didn't care. I just thought that if I just kept going out there and doing things for others, that made me happy. I guess I hit it on the head, where you've heard that phrase that the joy in life and the happiness in life is giving, not taking or storing up.
Right. There are some people that are givers, some that are takers, some that are doers. Want to make those pleasers, and that's what I've always been, is one of those people that had to please.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, whether it was feeding them or doing something for them. I think that's what made me happy, and I love that common thread that we have. I think that was important. And before, when I saw that in you, that's what drew me to you.
Well, thank you.
So I have a question for you, friend to friend.
All right.
Can you tell me if you ever get tired of people asking you your story?
No, I don't. No, I don't, because again, that's called a what would be the word? It's a paradigm shift. You know what I mean? You make a shift in your mind of the way that you used to think about things, and now they're different. For some people that are watching, it could be just, hey, I used to not like that kind of food, or I didn't like that kind of vegetable, and now I love that vegetable. And it's a bigger mind shift and a paradigm than that. But again, one of my mentors was able to share with me very early in life, is he goes, Robert, your story is there to help and inspire others. It's not about you. So, if your story can get people to go, wow, he was raised in foster homes, or he had a bad childhood, or he had alcoholic, parents, or, anything like that. I had a learning disability when I was young too, and still deal with it, where I'm dyslexic. So, certain words over 5 letters, the letters start scrambling. And so, in my early years, I was a special kid. Today I laugh and I said, I knew I was special ever since. I'm still special.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. Well, congratulations, by the way, on being a best-selling author with Max Miller for How's That Working?
Thank you so much.
Incredible book. By the way, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you always wanted to write a book? I mean, where did this come from? What made you want to write a book?
You're asking great questions. Yeah, I was excited to do this. It's funny because the 44 people that I've had now, believe it or not, is number 45. I had another person that just recently came out of nowhere and started telling me about all the stuff that he's accomplished, and I was just like, wow, that is so awesome that these people are coming out, and it was because of an interview I did with Jonathan Puga. He goes, well, why didn't you say my name? And I go, because I didn't know if you've made $1 million a year yet. But Max Miller was a dear friend of mine. I met him in marketing also. And he was one of these people that were cross-line, and he just came over and said, hey, listen, can you please show me what you're doing? And Max is just an incredible guy. And what I did is I constantly kept pushing him, asking him what he wanted to do with his life, well, what he thought his calling was, what his purpose was. And he kept saying that he wanted to be an author one day. And so anyone that hangs around close enough with me, my first raw gift is either an evangelist or a mentor. People want to be close to me, but the closer you get to me, the more I'm going to not take your excuses. I'm not going to let you whine and cry. I'm not going to make you, put things off. So everybody wants to be close to me until they're close to me, and then they realize that, I'm not going to let you just sit back and just procrastinate every year go by. I'm just not going to do it. And so Max and I got really close, and I started pushing Max to be an author. And there was one thing that he wanted to do, Meladee, which was travel the world. One of his bucket lists is he wanted to travel the whole world. And so I said, well, why don't you do that? And I always tell people, figure out creative ways to do things. Become resourceful instead of always looking for resources. So long story short, what he did is he ended up being a ticket person. He worked for Alaska Airlines, and he put enough time in with them where he started getting these buddy passes. And so he just saved up money, and then now he's got these, standby passes with the airlines where he could fly all over the world. And so he did. And so, so he started going to city to city to city, and he didn't realize how much fun it would be, because as soon as he got there, he'd say, well, I work for Alaska Airlines, and now he's working with other people at different countries and cities that work for the airline, so they had that in common. And I don't remember what country it was in. It probably will make me emotional saying this, but all of a sudden I get this call from Max, or he sent me a message or an email saying, can we talk at this time? Because he was like over in Asia someplace, or Thailand or something like that. And we got on the phone, and he goes, I got it. I finally popped, point of presence or place of passion, and he said, I finally popped. I'm ready to be an author, and I already got my first book. And I said, what? And he said, well, my first book is I'm going to write about you.
Wow.
I went,
oh, gosh, goosebumps.
What? And he says, no. He says, you inspired me. I've known you for all these years. You helped me. My first book is going to be about you.
Incredible.
So that's how the book happened. So me and him had already spent close to 20 years together. So we got serious, and he stayed with me for a while, and he just recorded me and asked me all these questions, funny, similar than you, and he he wrote the book, and then we did all the stuff where you got to edit it and change it around and stuff. But man, it's been a huge deal for me. It is pretty wonderful. I still, almost on a daily basis, with all the books that are all over the world. Excuse me, I got a guy right now that's translating it into German language, and it's in Spanish, and I forget a couple other languages it's in. And the book's being sold all over, and I constantly get these messages either by internet or Facebook or whatever of people telling me what the book did for them. So wow, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm glad I did it. You need to do one.
Well, have you been the type of person like to keep a journal of your life's happenings over the years, or did you have to pull all of that out with Max?
I do a journal. I always got a journal with me all the time, and I do a journal, but I'm very blessed. Because of my difficulty with writing, my retention is incredible. for every negative, there's a positive. So my recollection and my retention level of things is extremely high. So I had no problem at all recalling all the things that had happened to me that got me to this place. And so, like in the book, I just say, it's from auto mechanic to life mechanic. So I really am blessed to be a real true rags and riches story, and I believe that anybody that watches this can do the same. You just got to find the right mentor and lock on to them, and don't get unfocused. Don't keep jumping from thing to thing, to person to find someone that resonates with you and see it through. See it through to finish.
Do you think it's important for a mentor, for somebody to be able to relate personally with their mentor, or do you think they can still be an effective mentor to them even if there's not a personal connection?
Boy, that's a great question. I think I would have to first, Meladee, say what my definition of a mentor is. A lot of people get confused between someone that's a trainer and someone that's a mentor. To me, a trainer is somebody that has the information, they have the knowledge, and they might have some kind of level of success, and doing it full time. So they're really good with the knowledge. They're really good at training, and like that. A mentor, on the other hand, is someone that not only has the knowledge, but they're also good at getting people to actually apply that knowledge to get results. And so when I go out there and talk about people that are mentors, I don't know how a mentor could do that. In fact, I would probably, in my definition, again, I might be wrong for other people's perceptions, but I don't think that you got to have a personal relationship with a mentor, because I've even listened to some self-development audios throughout my past, and because of their voice or maybe something that they said, there was just no way that I could lock on and believe what they had to say and what they had to offer. And so a mentor to me is somebody that you got a personal connection with. You might like the way they sound, and you might love their philosophy, like Jim Rohn, for instance, and you just like their philosophy, who they were, what they stood for, and learn a lot from them through virtual mentorship. But I really truly believe to get to that those huge things in life, and it's not just about money, but to really do some huge things, you become who you hang around. And I think that statement would be, you become who you know on audio or video instead of people that you hang around. I believe that that's why it's specific, because you need to be in their general location. So me, even today, I'm seeking out some of the best in everything that I want to learn, and I go learn from them. I pay for their trainings. I find out where they are. If they got anything to do with VIP or anything that I can do to get really close to them, I do exactly what I need to get that kind of personal relationship and mentorship from them. And I know what a lot of people might be saying as they're watching this. They're going, well, I can't afford to do that. Then you need to figure out how to make more money. you need to start doing the things that are required of you to put you in a situation. There was I'm sure, sorry to ramble, but on Facebook I seen someone say, they seen a picture of me with Eric Worre and Jordan Adler and Marina Worre and some of these top people, and they're like, oh my God, I just wish that I got the chance to be around those people, but I believe one day I will. And I just put right underneath there, that's 100% a limiting belief. Like Henry Ford said in Think and Grow Rich, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't.
Right.
So I can guarantee you that there's going to be some people that are going to be watching this Google Hangout, and they're going, why Meladee? What did Meladee do to get Robert Hollis's time? And they don't know that, A, you hung around me. 2, you became my friend by giving just like I give, and 3, you asked. Like, there's some difficult ones.
Right, but the asking part, that's been a huge problem for me my whole entire life.
Me too.
It was so hard for me to ask, I mean, even a friend to drive me to an appointment or go get my car. It's so hard for me to ask somebody to go out of their way for me. And I had to kind of analyze that and say, why? Why is it so difficult? I'll stop, you know, at the drop of a hat to help somebody if I can. But it was so difficult to ask even the closest people to me for any kind of help.
Right. Yeah,
And
me too.
that's a hard lesson for me to learn.
Well,
But
I just say it's all about you feeling like you're worthy. You know what I mean? Plus, it's the environment and the things that we hang around. We become who we hang around. And if we hang around a bunch of people that, might have told us, that it's a sign of weakness to ask for help, and, you're really being, people that always try to reach out to me are always saying like they feel like they're wasting my time. Like, okay, so, I make $7,500 a day. Big deal. But in their mind, they're not worth having that little bit of time because they don't feel worthy, or they feel like they're taking me away from something that I could be doing that would be benefiting other people. And so I had to work. I mean, it's in my book. I had to learn how to ask for help. And what's sad about most people, and you probably found this out about you, is when people really start figuring out that they need to start asking for help, is usually in a very, very dark and low time in life.
yeah.
I don't want to, try to get people to think weird about me, because it's sad, but, I can guarantee you that a lot of people always want to say, like with Robin Williams and some of the people that sadly and tragically do things that take their life. A lot of people say, well, it's mental problems, it's depression, it's alcohol, it's drug. I really believe that you are just not asking for enough help. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like you mentally, even if you had to go to rehab a number of times and that wasn't working, these people have money, they have influence, they have all kinds of things. I would make sure that if I knew I was depressed, I'd make sure I'd say to somebody, hey, listen, I'm not, I know I'm not me. You need to hang around me. And if I get mad and tell you to get away from me, I'm paying you advance not to.
Awesome.
Yeah, don't leave me by myself. Don't let me, sneak out the back door and find a drug dealer. Don't let me overdrink. Don't let me do that stuff.
Yeah, it's great to have somebody to keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Whether it's a business partner or a life partner, a friend, it's always important to have that one person that is going to say, hey, what's going on with you?
Yeah. And also just won't buy your BS. You know what I mean?
Right.
People want a mentor and people want a really good friend, but they sometimes just want that person to be a yes person. You hang around someone that's a really, really close friend, a really good mentor, and they'll call you on your BS. They'll say, listen, you're being stupid. It's funny, I was watching some show last night, and this guy was being, I think it was on Ray Donovan on HBO, and the older brother that owned the boxing gym, he was all whining and crying, that his girlfriend left him and didn't want anything to do with him. And, this guy comes in that was part of the gym and just said, listen, you're a boxer and you're a boxer coach, and those people rely on you. Stop your crying and get out there. And he looked at him like he was upset, and then he went, yeah, you're right, and put his shirt on and went out there. But, when we're by ourselves, it's like, oh, I'm just not, I don't feel confident enough. Maybe I'll mess up. Things are not going well, and, we just turn ourselves into a spiral of do nothing.
Right, that fear of failure.
Yeah.
Right.
This doesn't work. Maybe this is not for me. Come on.
Right. Right. Well, it's rationalizing, why we don't have to push ourselves to do anything better.
Right.
Rationalizing why we settle for things. And I have to mention, you're talking about, friends don't allow us to get away with things, you know. And that's one of the things I love about our friendship and your mentorship with me is you don't sugarcoat things. You know, you'll call me out on things, and I appreciate that, because if you hadn't done that, I would not have grown as much as I have.
Right.
And I think that's so important, because a lot of times, you know, our best friends think they have to be, you know, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Or the people closest to us. But when we don't, and we kind of question the actions of our friends, it allows that growth and to really contemplate, what are we doing and why?
Well, the other thing is, too, is I think that you really have to be a really true friend in the other times for it to work. So you get these leaders out there that, you know, you don't see any interaction with them. They never reached out to you ever, ever, ever. You know, the only time you talk to them is when you make the initiation of the call or the contact. And, you know, so the only time that they're really, quote unquote, criticizing or trying to get you to do things is in that time when you're looking to be mentored. Now, if you didn't have any friendship with them outside of that, then that's when we become rebellious. See what I mean? So, you know, I know in times that you and I have talked, if I ever said anything that might have not hit you right, you know what I mean, or didn't make you feel like I was being sensitive enough, and maybe I was being a little harsh on you, I know that immediately you could reflect at times that I wasn't. You know, that I was there, that I did send out messages to you telling you how much I appreciate you and I care for you, and that's what you got to do. You got to be a kind of person that's always there, giving and doing their best to help someone. So then when you do have to correct them, they're going, you know what, I deserve that. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I remember calling you at one point early on when working as business partners, and I called you up, and I was really excited about something that was going to happen, but I was really nervous. I was going to say, oh my gosh, there's going to be a lot of people there. And you said to me, I pulled over at the park so I can talk to you on the phone without any distraction, to have that pen and paper ready, you know.
Right.
And you said to me, Meladee, be careful of what you pray for. And I had been praying, you know, Lord, help me grow this business, help me do the right thing, help me touch the other people's lives. And all of a sudden, it was all coming in on me, and I was like, oh, wait, yeah. This is what I've been praying for. And I would have never thought of that if you didn't point that out to me, but it gave me such comfort, because hey, this is my prayers being answered. I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
So you are quoted in your book, there is no greater joy than to help another person succeed. Does it make a difference if a person that comes to you for your mentorship, your advice, your help, if they have experience, you know, maybe previous business experience, or does it help if they've got a little bit of success behind them, or if they don't have any experience at all? Are all of them going to be able to have the same advantage?
Yeah, I would say that the people that have had difficulty mentoring in my life, and you know, I probably have shared with you these four categories of people all the time, and it's funny because not only are all of us all four of these categories, but we go in and out of these categories. And one of the categories is know-it-alls. You know, so when you first said, you know, people that are successful in the path, you know, this weekend, you know, I helped mentor a person that was a plastic surgeon, very successful plastic surgeon, and then also another guy that's a lawyer. God, I forgot the other guy too, Terry. He was uh, an engineer, an aeronautical engineer. And so
Wow.
the problem with some people that are successful in the past, and all of them had made good money, is that they're not going to put their ego away. They already believe that they know it. And the worst thing about being mentored by someone like me is here's people that have a college degree, if not multiple college degrees, and now they're listening to a person that makes six figures a month, and they got to put that ego away. So you got the know-it-all, then you got the people that are in the comfort zone, which they're just comfortable. So no matter how you try to mentor them in their life, they're very, very comfortable. They're not going to go out that comfort zone to do anything uncomfortable. And you just catch them at the wrong time in their life, and there's nothing you can do. Another category, of course, are the people that are people pleasers. So they're so into pleasing people that they're worried about what everyone's going to think. And this is just way too much pressure for them, because the closer they get to you, they're worried about what you're thinking, but also they're worried about what everyone around them's thinking. And if they do something, they're worried about what they're thinking. So these people never really get to find out who they are in life. So they're always, in my opinion, acting the way other people would like them to act, that they don't even know who they are. And then the fourth category is a winner. And I believe that everybody that watches this video, there's times that you've got into that glimpse of, that you really need to step up and start being what you've called to be. And that there's always something more, that you're dissatisfied and more than one area of your life. And you got to go for it. The deal is you just got to say yes. And go for it. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about what people are thinking about you. Don't worry about trying to make it perfect. Step out there. You're not going to be hurt if you get out of your comfort zone. And for people that you catch at that right time in their life, it's very, very magical, because they're extremely great listeners. And they're just what I call mirror and matching. If you hear about Tony Robbins and him learning 10 years from Jim Rohn, people look at some people like me and they think, oh my God, I can't do that. All I did is find someone that was better than me, that was making more money than me, and I just did exactly, not a little less, not a little more, exactly what they did on a day-to-day basis. Didn't change anything. And because I didn't, I got results. And so that's what I try to teach others.
Awesome. So again, in your book,
okay,
you say that helping others achieve their dreams is truly your passion.
Yes.
When did you realize that?
The first time it happened.
It didn't take a couple?
Yeah. What ended up happening in my first marketing company, that's why I love this profession so much, is in marketing, if you can find something that's got residual and leverage. And my definition of leverage is if you can teach somebody else to do what you've done, or in a lot of situations, as I was learning, I got people in front of my mentor. And so, I'll never forget the first time that, of course, I needed money. That was important for me to make residual income to provide for my family. That was important. But then all of a sudden, there were people underneath me that started hitting some pretty critical, what I call pin positions. And they started making a full-time income. And then because of them getting people underneath them making a full-time income, all of a sudden when we had celebrations and recognition and stuff, and I got to see people that I had helped walk across the stage and get praise and recognition, I'm telling you, I was just in the audience just bawling. And you take that one more level, where the last recognition thing that you and I were at, the Shine event, to see my son on stage getting recognized, and then a picture of my grandson up behind him. Oh
Wow, that was awesome.
You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, it's like, wow, it's like I tell people all the time, I pinch myself every day, I think I'm dreaming.
Yeah, it's pretty great, and that was such a proud moment. I sat there with a grin from ear to ear. I was so proud of him, and I can only imagine how much more proud you were of him being his father.
Wow. Yeah, it's It's one of those things I always tell people, don't worry about being afraid, and people get anxiety, and you know you can't feel like you're breathing. The goal in life is, if you'll go through it, that you'll constantly have moments like that will take your breath away, and they're just just seared right in the memory of incredible moments that are with you forever. They're freaking incredible.
Right, right. So, what do you attribute your achievements to, if you had to just boil it down real quick?
If I had to boil it down real quick, I always tell people you got to sort of look at your past, and I know that everyone in their life finds the good in things, and then there's more people, or most people, find the worst things in things. What really drove me at the beginning was, I just always felt like one day I'd get to sit down with my biological parents and go, look what I've done. And I know they made bad decisions in their life, and I've forgiven them. That doesn't condone what they did, but I always wanted to just have this whole book full of things that I've accomplished on why they should have been happy and glad that I was their child. And once I got into the habit of doing that, I still do it today. It's still like an internal motivation of mine to go out there and show people, hey, listen, look what can be accomplished. But instead of personal achievements for me, now it's me racking that 45 number to 100, to 200, to 1,000. I want to leave this planet, as Jim Rohn said, having people talk about their lifestyle and what they've done in life, and somewhere, have my name come up, like, Jim Rohn always talked about Earl Schoff, or Tony Robbins always talks about Jim Rohn, or how I always talk about Bill Gould. You just want to have people being able to say, well, hey, listen, I met this crazy person, and they got me to believe in myself, and they got me to do things that I didn't think I could, and they believed in me more than I believed in myself. That I pray that every person that watches this video finds a way to get that, because it's a whole different level of joy and happiness and fulfillment, contribution that is way on the other side of just figuring out how to survive.
Right, right. Well, I've always been a big believer that all of the things that we've gone through in our life, good and bad, they all make and mold us into the person that we become, and we can take all those negative things, all those bad things, and make ourselves stronger with it, or we can become the victim, like we talked about earlier. And I've chosen to take all of those things and utilize them and be able to relate to people that are in those same situations, which I found to be such a blessing.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing that I think that, of course, I've been blessed with success, and Meladee, I'm so proud of you and the stuff that you've done with your life, and I know that you've run across people that are suffering from some kind of illness, or they don't know how to handle some of the tragedies you've had in your life, and I know what they say to you all the time. They say to you, yeah, but that's you, I couldn't do it.
Right.
And isn't your first response, oh, hell yeah, you can?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's what people always look at, people that are winners like you. See, when I talked about those 4 categories, you're definitely a winner. I love hanging around people, and I love hanging around people like you. And so when people turn around and say, God, I just can't do what you do, Meladee, yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, I believe in everybody, and I think everybody has whatever it takes to get to where they want to go. And the strength is there. All we have to do is, pull it up and move.
Right.
But a lot of people are just like, no. And I've literally watched. I was in a group of lupus patients for years, and there were 47 of us. Well, 48 of us. I was the 48th one, and I literally watched all 47 of those people give up and die.
Wow.
And watched what it did to their families. And, I was there with many of them, and it's just like you believe in them so much, you know that they can fight, but when you give up that will,
Yeah.
it's just over. And I think so many people are walking around in life now that have just given up. They don't
Oh,
dream anymore.
no hope. No
Right.
hope at all.
No hope. And I'm so thankful that I've had my faith to pull me through. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it wasn't hard.
Right.
And I know it can work for other people. And sometimes I want it so badly for them that it literally hurts. I
Yep.
just feel like there's a hole in my chest. And
That's
and you
not,
can't
that's honestly my weakness. It's I have a lot of strengths, thank God. My weakness is the feelings and the emotions that I tie to people that don't want to participate in their own rescue. Wicked,
yeah.
wicked. Because I see how much they're hurting. I see how much they need it. I know that they can do it, and they just won't take that leap of faith. They just they don't. And I believe again that comes back to who you hang around. I mean, these people are either hanging around the wrong people, or what they're doing is they're spending too much time with themselves.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
and because they can't hang around you and Melody, me and you. There's no way they could hang around us and keep in that mind frame.
Nope. Absolutely not. So I have another question for you. When it
Sure.
comes to your character, can you describe one attribute that you have that has made a difference in your achievements?
Well, there's a lot of them came to my mind.
Well, you can spill a few of them.
Um, One character is again that giving. I want to prove to myself. I want to prove to myself and others that I can outgive them. I want them to know that even when I'm mentoring people, that when you decide that you're no longer going to do this, you're going to be very, very convinced that you're the one that quit. You're the one that gave up. I didn't give up on you. I didn't. I do my very, very best. I'm not perfect of saying that I'm going to do something, and I do it. I do it. I keep telling myself, successful people do and unsuccessful people don't. Unhappy people do and unhappy people don't. And so my mentality is always that, if you're going to say you're going to do something, just do it. Just do it, and stop mentally in your mind. Keep defeating yourself by procrastination. Just keep putting it off. Suicide on the installment plan. It's like it's amazing to me, Melody, how much people sabotage their lifestyles. They just keep doing these patterns over and over and over again, sabotaging their life because they're not willing to step up and go to the next level. It's sad. It's super sad. But what makes me excited is if I keep promoting the book, if I keep promoting what I believe in, if I keep promoting entrepreneurial evangelist, if I keep going out there talking about leverage and residual, what makes me go through the bad times is when I find two or three people that go, you know what, I got it. I'm going to do this, and they become coachable, and they do what I tell them to do, and they get results. And the next thing I know, I'm still sad for the other ones that I had to leave behind. Yeah, but every time I find another person that changes their whole family tree, it's worth it, man. It's totally worth it.
Amazing. I've known you for several years now, and I know your passion for personal development. At what age did you discover personal development?
It was when when my knee got hurt. When my knee got hurt, I was an auto mechanic, and van, slipped off a hoist. I couldn't get out of the way, and it wrecked my knee. And I was really down. I'm telling you, I just thought, it's crazy that, all I did is hurt my knee, which was pretty bad. But man, you see people with no arms or no legs. But I was in the middle of the darkness, man. I was totally in the darkness. I felt totally unworthy. I felt totally worthless. Didn't feel like a man. It was rough. It was really, really rough. And so, it was during that time that I got exposed to personal development through my mentor. He gave me a book, not gave me a book. He's a mentor, so he told me to go get the book, Think and Grow Rich, and I did. And that was the second book that I've ever read, and I read it cover to cover, and that was when I got hooked on personal development, and now I just wanted to. I can't get enough. I can't get enough even to this day. I'm constantly spending, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on personal development, seeking out people that are the best at what they do, and going and learning from them, buying everything that they have, going to their live events. I'm definitely obsessed with it, no doubt.
How do you think your life would be different if you were just to take the element of personal development out of the equation of your life?
I know this would offend a lot of close family members, and I don't care. I care for them, but I don't care about this thought. Is all I need to do is go back to my hometown and see the really close friends and relatives that I have, and that's where I would be. I totally would be still doing physical labor, probably had to do something with mechanics or working in the oil field. Every day, probably, drinking alcohol to try to get rid of the pain from my body. Being 52, it's not as easy to do it as it is at 22. And just feel like each and every day that I was going nowhere. And don't get me wrong, I think that's okay for some people, but it's definitely not okay for me. I sat there and I probably would have never left. I probably would have never left that town and just stayed there, like a lot of the people that are still there, every day complaining about how awful things are, but I'm not willing to do anything about it.
Right. Well, you're very blessed with a beautiful family.
Oh, thank you.
And is there ever any time where Terry and the boys wish that maybe you weren't such a public figure, or that you didn't work such long hours or make yourself so available to people like me?
Great question. I got asked this. I got asked this over the weekend in the breakthrough. There was a lady there that had some pretty young children. And she said, wow, I just want to be around them all the time. I don't want to, I'm just so worried about sacrificing. And it was compounded for her because of her father not being around. And so what I explained to her that I've done to my family is I just always am present with them. They know they're number one, and, excuse me, they know they're number one, and also on top of that, they know that I'll drop anything for them. So when I'm with them, I'm present. I'm really, really present, and I'm dedicated to them, and they know that. And what I think that does is that just makes up that kind of quality time instead of quantity time beats it every time. If the people that love you the most, that want you to be around, know you're there, they can call you in a heartbeat and you're there, and they know that you're there for real when you're there. Then that makes up for all the stuff that when you're not. So every time I do something, my family gets rewarded in some way or another, whether we're traveling on trips or the things that we're able to do or the lifestyle that I have, so I can work hard for like maybe 6 or 9 months. And in their mind, they're going, well, I haven't seen him for 6 or 9 months, but he was here and I couldn't get rid of him for 3 years. So he's always around, you know what I mean? So, and I'm in that phase right now. With the company that I'm with, I made a commitment. I stepped away from the house and March over a year ago and got a place close to the office and put my head down and and did everything that I had done in the past. Really, really made an incredible commitment to getting that company going. And so then once I do that, guess what? Then it's time to spend time with my family, which I'm doing now. And so I'm not one of those guys that like doing the monotonous stuff over and over and over and over every day. In fact, me and Eric Worre talked about this. Jordan Adler, which is the #1 money earner and send out cards, we talked about this. We make a commitment. We're all in, and we go wide open for that 90 days, 6 months wide open to build an incredible momentum that ends up making us millions and millions and millions of dollars for over the next 4 or 5 years. Other people play with being an entrepreneur, and it'll squash you. It'll flat out take everything you got when you're playing with it. It's I don't know how people do it, but I do know people that do it. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, recently I got to spend time with your grandson, Ryder, and Amy and Robert Jr., who happen to be very special to me too. And I wanted to ask you, because I've always wanted to be a grandparent since before I had my children. I always knew that I couldn't wait to be a grandma. How has being a grandparent changed you, if at all?
Huge. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't want it to keep going back to money because it's not that. But it's like people always want to say, well, listen, what's it feel like to make $1 million in a year? What's it feel like to be on stage in front of 21,000 people, all screaming? Those are just things like, what does ice cream taste like? It's one of those things that you got to experience, yet you can't tell people what it's like. And so I've had some very, very, very close friends tell me, dude, when you become a grandpa, you're going to freak out. And I am. I'm totally am. It's amazing to me how much love and that you can have for an individual. It's just amazing. I believe it or not, me focusing on building my legacy and promoting my training to the world instead of just keeping it within my simple organization with my marketing company is what made that happen. It's like maybe other people become grandpas later on in life, but it's like my thing is wow, I just want to make sure that Ryder and my grandchildren that are coming, later on, is I just want to give them more than I even gave to my sons. I wasn't blessed with a daughter, so Matthew and Kyle and Junior. Yeah, I just want to make sure that my grandson gets to do things that they didn't get to do. It's like, and so to me, there's only two things that can make that happen: is building an empire, a cash flow, helping more people, and making sure that I free up my time by mentoring and teaching others so they can, step up and take the ball. So I'm not only got the money, but I also got the freedom and the time to do whatever I want to do. So I tell people, Meladee, the very first time that I did things in my life was when my sons did things. You know what I mean? So the first time I went to the Bahamas, or the first time I went to Dominican Republic, or the first time that, virtually I did everything, I did with my sons. So here's a 35 or 40-year-old or a 50-year-old experiencing this first time with teenagers, you know what I mean? Or people in their 20s. So now the first time that my sons get to experience things for the first time will be when Ryder, so Ryder in his, 10 years old. I always like making sure you do stuff like that so they can remember. But as soon as I know that Ryder's in a place where he'll remember things, he'll get to experience the first thing for the first time, but his father will and I will. You know what I mean? So you'll have 3 generations that will be experiencing that experience at the same time.
That's awesome. That's truly awesome.
I've never said that before. You brought that. It was like, so wow, the first time that, we go to Australia, it's like, wow, I got to see it at 54. My son got to see it at 34, and Ryder gets to see it at 4.
That's going to be very special. So with all the great accomplishments that you've had, you know, being a #1 sales distributor for multiple companies, a best-selling author, very successful businesses, and now Success in Minutes, is there anything else on the back burners there that you think you might want to, you still want to accomplish, or are you good?
No. I'm far from done. I get more excited about what I can accomplish right now with unlimited profits and Success in Minutes, only because I'm now getting to reach out to the world. So I've already know what I can do with individuals within my team, but now with Success in Minutes, I'm looking to train the world. Seriously, my goal is to inspire and train and mentor as many people as I possibly can for the limited time that I'm on this planet. And God willing, you know, I probably at least got another, you know, 40 if not 50 years, and you know, I'm going to go down, you know, going wide open. I look at what technology has to offer, you know, all the neat, you know, toys that are out there that allow me to take something like, you know, what Jim Rohn has done, God rest his soul. You know, I see how many people that man has affected through even one person, Tony Robbins. That's my next goal. My next goal is there's a lot of people out there right now that want to learn how to be successful, and they don't have the knowledge, or they don't know what's holding them back. And my whole deal is to just continue to step up this mentorship thing faster and quicker. One of my really truly exciting things is you know, us speaking in front of large organizations. You know, I still believe that it will happen this year. My first training that will be underneath the Success in Minutes and Unlimited Profits label. But everyone needs a mentor, and some of the personal development that I went through that were 3- and 4-day and 5-day events, what was another reason for me to check out what Eric Gorey was doing with the breakthrough events, is when you can spend that kind of quality time with someone that knows what they're doing, it'll affect you. It'll affect you forever, because now you're spending time in front of that person, and you run out of things to ask. you run out of stories. You run out of excuses. You run out of the ability to say that you can do it. You also run out of the ability to run out of knowledge. You know, you sit there and watch these individuals, and you know, everyone comes with their whole set of baggage. Literally and figuratively, and it's fun to just, you know, make people just totally strip away that luggage and walk away there, you know, with a huge armor of a huge armor of knowledge, and a sword, you know, believing that they can say anything they want to, and a shield of faith, and man, they're ready to go out there and just you know, become the people that they really truly knew that they always wanted to be.
With all that confidence in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that's how your mentorship program has helped me. Can you tell us just real quick, I don't want to keep you much longer,
Sure.
Just real quick, a little bit about Success in Minutes and what gave you the idea, and maybe share a little bit about your partner, Bill Ebert?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Success in Minutes really came, and it's funny, a lot of people are getting confused by the name, but Success in Minutes really is a brand, which would be similar to, I'm not bragging, but I love using this analogy, but Rolls-Royce has 3 models. They have the Phantom, the Ghost, and now the Wraith, which are 3 different models for different reasons. Unlimited Profits is like Rolls-Royce. In the mentoring and the training and the inspiring world, that brand, Unlimited Profits, is I'm going to turn that into soon to be $1 billion company. It's going to take a while for me to do that, but I have all the time in the world. And so, you know, but in that brand of Unlimited Profits, that's where people get paid and all that stuff. We have Success in Minutes, and Success in Minutes is more the tools and the stuff that you would use with the blog and all that stuff. And where it all came from, Meladee, is that I couldn't spend enough quality personal time with people like you all over the world. So all these people, especially when my group grew into, you know, all over the place, all over the world, then how am I going to spend personal time with them to do the personal one-on-one mentorship that I have done with some of the other 44? And so thank God with technology and all this stuff, I'm now doing that. This interview with you is me reaching out to the people that I want that to help get, 45, 46, 47, 48, and get those people to $1 million a year. And I knew that I could do that through technology. And so that's where Success in Minutes came through. And believe it or not, with the help of Eric Worre, there's going to be sort of another brand where it's all based on that mentorship. That's where that pro thing came from. And I just need people to know that I need them to understand why they need a mentor, how to treat a mentor, what's the difference between a mentor and a trainer, and how to be able to utilize a mentor to get the best out of it, to get them to where they need to be. And so, the whole thought of the mentorship thing will come also with the live trainings. And so, I believe that Bill Ebert is a godsend. He was like I said to you, Meladee, Bill Ebert's an answer to prayers. It's for everything that we hear, not on spiritual beliefs, but we always hear about the yin and the yang. And Bill Ebert is just a godsend. It's funny, I found someone online, believe it or not, that I was looking to build me a back office, and that individual actually introduced me to another guy. I don't know if you remember a gentleman named Tom Selly, and then Tom Selly introduced me to Bill Ebert. And so when me and Bill talked, it just was like this instant match that and Bill's very humble when he says this, but you hear behind Bill Gates that there's this behind Bill Gates there was this guy named Paul Allen, and behind Steve Jobs was this guy named Gary Wozniak. And even though he tries very, very hard to say, hey, I'm okay with just being the guy behind the scenes, I mean, he is amazing talent, and he's got his own training and mentoring ways. Thank God for Bill Ebert. He was the one that was able to show me how to do a video in under a minute. And so my goal right now, Meladee, is to go out and inspire and train and mentor the world. And people that watch this webinar, this Google Hangout, make sure to get back to Meladee. Make sure to say, hey, listen, if you guys are giving away free training and free mentorship, I want to be a part of it. And even if it's just to learn how to be better at what you're doing now, or if it's something that you just want to do like we do, which is share it with the world. Our goal is to go out there and help 1 million people with free training and mentorship. And out of those people, a lot of them are going to want to participate in sharing that. And there's a lot of money that can be made by helping people learn more and mentor more and become more productive and get more results.
Great. Yes, and I agree. Bill is amazing when it comes to Success in Minutes, and he's just been a great help to me. So thank you for finding him.
Thank God.
I'm loving Success in Minutes, and excuse me, and the mentorship part of the program is pretty remarkable. I don't see a whole lot out there. I don't see anything that really even compares to it. But how important do you think it is for everyone to have a mentor in their life? And does it matter, what age should it start? Do they only need it till they're a certain age, or does it matter what profession they're in? Great
point. The one thing that I tell everybody is there's only 2 ways to learn anything. One is through the School of Hard Knocks. It's funny how it's even gotten a name that doesn't sound very good. School of Hard Knocks. There's people out there like you look at, like Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein. There's some great leaders even of this day that we knew didn't have any ability to lean on someone that already knew what they didn't know. Wow, that was a great phrase. And so, through trial and error, I think it was Thomas Edison that said, wow, so how many times did you try to figure out the light bulb? And he said, I stopped counting at 10,000. And they said, you failed 10,000 times before you invented the light bulb? And he said, no, I've never failed in my life. I just found out 10,000 ways that it wouldn't work. But the point that he was making with that, Meladee, is that every one of them got him a realization or a pop or a level of awareness that got him closer to his goal. And that's what people struggle with. People say, I don't want to fail. I don't want to look silly. Then guess what? You don't want to be happy. You don't want to be successful. You don't want to be wealthy. Richard Branson, that owns the Virgin brand, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records, Virgin Cellular, he was asked one time, what was the key to his success? And he said, wisdom. Wisdom. And the guy goes, where do you get wisdom from? He goes, from making mistakes. So when you say, how important is a mentor, we just talked about the one way. The one way is just going out there, school of hard knocks, failure after failure after failure, and then the whole aspect of saying, hey, listen, what if I could lean on somebody that already went through the school of hard knocks? What if I could go learn personally from somebody that's already documented in teaching other people how to get there? And see, here's the one that I bring up, Meladee, that I think that people will get it faster than ever. If let's just say that for whatever reason, whether you have a child at this age or not, but let's just say that your child comes to you, male or female, and just says, you know what, I want to be a singer. I want to dance, whatever it is. I want to play piano. And whatever they say that they want to do you then say, let's say sing. And you hear them and they're so passionate about singing. So do you teach them how to sing? 2, do you just allow them to keep thinking that they're a good singer? Or 3, could you find money together and get them in front of someone that can teach them to sing? I think that for anyone that's watching this, the answer should be obvious, but believe it or not, Meladee, for most people it's not.
Wow. Well, of course we want the best for our kids, and we want them to be able to develop their talents the most, so we're going to find the best to be able to teach them.
Yeah, and so the reason that people don't is only because of 2 reasons: time and money. So if money wasn't an issue and time wasn't an issue, and your child came to you and said, I wanted to be a race car driver, I wanted to do martial arts, I want to be an artist, I want to be a film producer, a director, I want to be a biologist. I mean, what parent doesn't want to have their child learn for the very best tutors on the planet?
Right.
That's what I would do for my child. I'm asking everybody, why won't you do that for you?
Ouch.
Take care of that little take care of that little child in you. You deserve it.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Robert. I want to thank you for being so generous with your time today, and from the bottom of my heart, for all that you've given me, and for being my friend. In closing, I want to remind everybody that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is a perfect example that Robert has set for us today. Till next time, this is Straight Talk with Meladee saying, it's all up to you, so you make it a great day.
God bless everyone.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.